Thank you for joining the Reverend Dr. Sean Michael Greener, radio host, national pastor, author, and speaker for Sundays with Dr. Sean. Hold on tight. Here comes the truth.
What in the world do we have going on here? Well, what we have going on here is what we call a podcast and a radio broadcast, and it's being sent out to all kinds of different places. As you might know, this is the first time I've done this in a long time because I've been very sick and just haven't physically been able to and haven't had a real space to do it. But I'm thankful as anything that I'm able to do it now. So I hope that you're able to join me. I figured, there's a lot of people stuck at home, and I got to thinking about it, and I thought, hey, you know what? What better time than now? So I hope that you all can hear me. Let's see here. I have not done this in a long time, so I do not remember. Let's see here. Tag. I'm tagging the heck out of y'all. I don't even know if I'm doing it right. Shoot. Tagging on the Facebook Live. I'm not going to lie. I sucked at this when I was doing it twice a week. So we're on Spreaker. Oh, I'm Dr. Sean Greener, by the way. Dadgummit, I forgot that. Forgot to tell you who I was. Why in the world would you even listen to somebody you don't even know who it is? Or maybe you'd make a new friend. Hey, but anyway, here we are, COVID-19. I'm tagging that guy, everybody here. Tag people you know. I'm probably not going to do it right. Look at me go. I'm pressing tag friend. Hey, I deleted 488 friends this past week. Can you believe it? 488. I brought on friends, new friends, and that post has gotten a lot of traction, so I would encourage you take a look at that. Hello, Jojo Lambert, Steve, healthcare on the front lines right there. My friend Steve Pyatt, thank you for what you do. I know you're an expert at it. Hey, Linda, or Susan. Hey, Sherry and Lynette, my sweet, sweet sister-in-law. I call her, you that know me know that I call her sister-in-law, but she's really my sister. Hey, Dina, how are you? Hey, by the way, Lynette, I'm sorry I didn't type you back. I will type you back after all this. How is everybody? Hey, Sheila. Hey, Jeff. Good to see you. So what we're doing here, real quick, is I made a promise. Right? My book is out. The Bible Summary for Real People. I put the link on Spreaker. I'll put the link also on Facebook. Hey, Michael. Good to see you. Great warrior there. Jeff Lathrop, I call him the Genius Trucker. He's an awesome guy, great mind. Just like we used to do, Sissy is right next to me. Buckeye is laying right at my feet. We're coming to you from my new house. We've just moved into our new, and for me, my final earthly home. So I will be living here until I'm living in heaven. So not moving again. Those of you who have moved, Ugh. I'm using some different equipment, so I don't know. My son, by the way, shout out to my son Doyle. My son Doyle has gotten all this set up today. My desk, computer stuff, got a computer monitor, got a double whammy monitor and all this, and he's going to set me up with connections, and I won't know how to use any of it, so I will text him a lot, and I will say, Doyle, how do I do this? How do I do that? So this is from my office in my home. Genius Trucker Manager. That's what I have to. That's long though. It's long, Jeff. I have to work on that one. So out about 500 yards, maybe less, is the sound. Coming to you from Hampstead, North Carolina. The sound, and then the next thing is the Lee Island, and then right on the other side of Lee Island, which is small. Hey, Ron and Nancy Montgomery, how are you? Great Navy SEAL there. retired, and his great wife of many, many years. So pointing that way, just on the other side of the island, is the Atlantic Ocean. So we're super excited. Hey, Angie. Gosh, I miss y'all. I'm telling you, I miss my Kehala. Those people are some of the best people ever. Yeah, being an ER charge nurse during this time sucks for sure. But thank God you're there acting so decisively with your EMT and trauma training and all that. We're just thankful for it there in the great state of Ohio. So I mentioned the other day, I did a brief live, and folks said, people were struggling, and I thought it was ironic that this book came out. Now, by the way, it was $7.99. Hey, Jeannie, honored to have you. Great writer and thinker on the conservative side there. Jeannie is amazing. We're praying for you and your health too. We care about you. You inform and inspire a lot of people. So the book came out at $7.99, but I checked today, and they've pushed the price up slightly, only because how they're having to print it is more expensive. So whenever all this is over, the price will come back down. I don't get any more profit. I make about 40 cents a copy. I know, believe it or not. The photograph on there, if I can show you, I shot that. You guys know I do photography. That is Surf City. That is north of here if you go by boat, north of here by maybe 10 minutes. If you go by car, it'll take about 15 to 20 or something like that. But I shot this photograph. So I wrote this book, and a lot of people want to know, my first book, Excellence Killed the Church. Hey, Bonnie, there's my art partner, Still Living Photography, stilllivingphotography.com. Bonnie and I collaborate there, and we would be excited if you go there and check out our artwork. And Linda is one of the people that has purchased our art and put it on her walls, and we really appreciate that. So, people have asked, why did I write another book? I wrote a book called Excellence Killed the Church, How Mediocrity is Destroying America. Thank you, by the way, to all the people joining us on Spreaker. I didn't think anybody would, because I haven't done it in so long, and I keep paying for it month to month, hoping I'll get strong. And so some people have asked two things. One, why can't you do a podcast today? It seems like it's not very physically demanding. Well, I'll just give you the long and short of it. Physically sitting up is very difficult for me to do. So my son put together a chair for me. You can't really see it. It's right there. My son put together this chair for me. And at some point when I get something decent, I have cardboard underneath right now, but there's carpet underneath that. I have to get one of those little rolly around. Hey, Dr. Frazier. Oh, Dr. Frazier, I have a bunch of papers to finish. As soon as I finish this, for my doctorate in practical theology. I've 1.5 more classes to go, and I'm excited because Dr. Frazier, excellent professor, one of the toughest I've ever had in my life, secular or divinity or seminary. And Dr. Frazier, I'm going to be taking a class through Summit, which he is also a professor there, called Polemics, and I'm going to be talking to you about that further in the future. But I'm finishing up a class right now called Doctrine of Christ, and I am loving it. However, due to this move and all the COVID-19 and not being able to find my stuff, I just found my book, and so I'm hustling to try to get it done by Saturday or Sunday and take my final. So anyway, people have asked me, why can't you do it? And I said, it's sitting up. Now I have a back brace somewhere that holds me like this. So it goes over here and then around my waist, and has this thing. It's real tight. It's hard to breathe, and it's hard to talk. So it holds me. Hey, Lance, how you doing, buddy? It holds me up like this. And so it's easier to sit up, but it's much harder to talk. And as you know, podcast isn't so great if you can't talk. If you just are looking at me, look at me. That's not a very redeeming podcast, if you know what I'm saying. All that said to say, the other question people ask is, why did you write another book if the first book, it just wasn't financially successful from the standpoint that we sold thousands of books, but my profit per book was so small, and we self-funded that one. We did this one kind of on a shoestring, and lots of great people gave to do that, and I appreciate that immensely. But we really went on the short a little bit. Hey, Jessica, another great nurse and Marine, and so we're really like a marionette, string me up. We're really fortunate to have people serving us. So Jessica, it's an honor. I was a Navy guy, but I served with lots and lots of Marines, and of course where I live now, fighters fly over all the time, helos, ospreys. I'm not a fan of ospreys, just from the safety record. It endangers our Marines. However, we love them. We're right near Camp Lejeune, and we just lost two Marine Raiders, MARSOC Marine Raiders, and so pray for their families. But I wrote that book not to be a financial success, much to my family's chagrin, but I wrote it to get the word out there. So that's Excellence Killed the Church, How Mediocrity is Destroying America. Kind of a hard-hitting book. It was very controversial. So how radio and some TV got started was I did a book tour all around the country. Supposed to be 5 weeks, ended up 5 months. And I really enjoyed it, and that's how I met Bibi Netanyahu, who then gave me the nickname, the Ninja Pastor. Hey, Terry, great retired police officer, dog trainer, and finder of cool things with his metal detector thing. He's found some cool stuff. So that's how I got that nickname, and it just kind of took off, and I did interviews, and people said, hey, you know what? You need to have your own radio show. So I did. And so we did that originally through TogiNet, where we had a whole staff of producers and directors and all that stuff. They were awesome. And so we broadcast from one state through another, through Texas. TogiNet was based in Texas, and they were awesome. So we did that for a year. And then we went to Blog Talk Radio. When I debuted at Blog Talk Radio, when I debuted at TogiNet, we debuted 114,000 people. I had no idea. None whatsoever. I'm an idiot when it comes to marketing my radio show. I'm an idiot when it comes to monetizing what I do. I just want to get the word out there and help people. Hey, Hannah, how are you? Good to see you. So, thank you. By the way, a bald eagle just flew about 200 yards off. This is going to be difficult. Lots of ospreys, bald eagles. A flock of 80 white cranes flew treetop level the other day. Of course, I didn't have my camera, but we'll be remedying that really soon. All that said to say this, then we went to Blog Talk Radio, and hey, there's my good buddy. You want to talk about phenomenal? I'm an utter novice when it comes to radio, but my friend Dave Perkins, great patriot. I've turned a lot of you on to his writing and thinking on Facebook. I'm hoping that he's currently writing a book. I've been on his case about writing a book since I met him. One of the most astute, politically astute, and theologically astute people I've ever met in my life, and an all-around great guy, and a Texan. What more can you say? Great American, great Texan. And so we really have enjoyed our friendship over the years, and you want to talk about a great professional radio guy. Dave has been all over. You can hear him on RT, Radio Network, frequently, and some other places, but he was all over the radio waves all over the United States, so it's an honor. Hey, Bill, how are you? So I wrote this book, The Bible Summary for Real People, because, not because of financial success, because again, 40 cents per book, I'm not going to get rich, got to sell a lot of them. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to read to you what I put in this book as the reason. There are many great, heady, scholarly Bible commentaries and Bible summaries widely available. The Bible Summary for Real People is the result of my 34th and likely last reading of the Holy Bible. The realization that this will likely be the last time I read the entire Bible caused a paradigm shift in my heart and my mind. I guess it's a lot like a fantastic meal you know you will only enjoy one last time. You take your time, you really taste every bite, chewing each bite with reverence and respect. Maybe a better analogy is that of a cherished person who you adore and respect above all others. How closely do you listen to what you've come to realize is your last conversation with that treasured soul? One last conversation, every word sweeter than the last. That is the conversation that you savor and remember forever, hanging on every word. That is what time reading through the Bible, this time reading through the Bible, meant to me. Each time reading through the Bible, God has always seemed to reveal more of the secrets of the sacred works to me. But this time in a simpler and more practical way. This is the Bible summary for real people living a real life. I believe this summary will speak to you where you are in your life, and that you will enjoy the revelations God shared with me that I now share with you. So people have asked about that, and those of you who know me know I'm terminally ill. And so I've had an amazing life. Look at the people I've gotten to meet. Look at this list of people clicking in now. I've gotten to meet amazing and wonderful people who have enriched my life. I've gotten to go places and do things that are just storybook. And I've gotten to enjoy the great friends who have gone before me to their reward. One of Linda Cahalan has joined her son, Chris, great friend. And I've just been so fortunate. So I don't lament that. That's part of why I struggle, sit upright and all this stuff. So we have good days and we have bad days. Seems like we are getting more difficult days. And Colleen was saying the other day that we just want we're not getting any normal days anymore. So that just is what it is. I mean, that's just a fact of life. Am I resigned to that? No, because I should have been going a long time ago. I will tell you this, Dr. David Friedman, Dr. Jeffrey Marangel, Dr. Bruce Carrick, Dr. Tracy Hudson, and more have rendered to me amazing care. And so we're doing everything different. And so far, so good. We're still here. And I can still function. I'm not in a wheelchair and any of that stuff. I do use crutches. There's crutches over there and canes and stuff when we have to. But I don't like to use them, just so you know. I don't like to use them. I think it makes you... I don't want to use them before I have to. Let's put it that way. All that said to say this, that when I read the Bible this time, now this is my 34th time I finished reading the Bible. And of course, in master's... my doctorate of practical theology to go along with my doctorate of theology. I wanted to have a more practical sense of ministry. What does it mean to minister to people? And as many of you know, I have a counseling practice, which we do. It is a very, very different type of counseling practice. It's very in your face, very direct, very aggressive. Hey, Brent. Hey, Dave. Good to see you, brother. Talking about great friends. And Jim. I have to tell you, the practicality of the Bible and the practicality, the practice, the orthopraxis, how we live out our faith has made a big, big difference in my life. It's changed a lot. Some through the type of people that I'm exposed to now, that are in my life now, and some through understanding people from the past better. So all of that said to say this, that here we are. Here we are as long as it lasts here, this side of the veil. And I'm going to do all I can to make it count while I'm here. Today is a great day to be alive. And I say that at the end of every speech that I'm honored to give and every sermon that I'm honored to preach. And it's at the end of this book. So what I wanted to do was share with you during this whole COVID-19 this whole thing. This is a crazy time we're in, is it not? I mean, it's just nuts. So I wanted to read to you a quick introduction. This is an unapologetic, real world, real people, entire Bible commentary. Well, so what? Who cares what a potential Bible nerd has to say? I say potential because I'm not really a Bible nerd. Although I have, I think, 39 printed Bibles. I could always stand another one. I'm just saying, now that I have my own office, I could put up more shelves. And then I have a bunch on electronically. Anyway, who cares what a potential Bible nerd has to say? Well, in addition to living life a good bit, before I took on the vest and pocket protector of Bible nerds, I experienced an awful lot, good and bad, that life has to offer. Now, as I approach the last segment of my life, I thought you might benefit from a little bit of what I've learned so far, and this close to the end. People often assume that a guy with a master's and doctorate degree in theology is a stuffy and religious nerd. The truth is, I'm just a regular dude, and I tend to reject ultra-academic religious rhetoric, Christian buzzwords and phrases. I know religious theological discourse has its place, but I tend to believe that real heady Christianese should only be used in academia, and for me, only in academia. My personal policy is to no longer attend pastors' conferences unless I am the keynote speaker. I know that seems pretty arrogant and nothing against other pastors, but there's a reason for it. Here it is, like it or not. My personal policy is because part of the reason is an alarming and growing percentage of the pastors, not all, spend part of their time bemoaning their pay, their congregations, bemoaning the job of pastor, whining about how broken they are, and yet while spending their time still measuring each other with the world's measurements. And while we're at it, can somebody tell me why so many of the modern worship music and postmodern emergent Western evangelical pastors are constantly talking about how broken they are? It seems like the new thing to repeatedly repeat redundantly over and over again and again is just how broken they are. I'm not so sure, but I think maybe the skinny jeans they all seem to be wearing these days. But you know what? I could be jealous, though, because I can't wear skinny jeans. I am not skinny enough to wear skinny jeans, more like husky jeans. I'm a big fella. Lest you think I am insensitive to the struggles of pastors and their families, when I so frequently hear the laments of pastors, young and old alike, of their chosen career or calling, I have to ask, what changed in pastoring over the past several decades? The questions these pastors ask at normal pastors' conferences are something like, well, what is your attendance running? What is your budget looking like? How many services are you running every Sunday? Do you have a yearly sabbatical? What's your benefits package like? How's your salary package? How's your band? Come to think of it, when I hear some of these godly right reverend men and some women pray, it sounds like they just departed the Westminster Abbey after being schooled at Oxford Theological Seminary from kindergarten to postgraduate. I could swear I could hear a real British accent when they are praying and preaching. Yet when you talk to them once they're off the stage and the spotlight is off of them, it sounds like they're deep in the holler Kentucky, goes from one voice to the next. Oh, the lovely high sound of prayer and scripture, on down to the feller in the holler. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, this occurred to me, and no offense to Kentucky, I love Kentuckians and their accents, but you get what I mean. What I don't like is the fake regal ultra-theologian accents. Unless, of course, they are from there. To be clear, I simply don't like fake, self-impressed people, especially in the pulpit. I bring this delicate subject up because I believe many pastors need to toughen up. I wrote my first book, Excellence Killed the Church, How Mediocrity is Destroying America, because after taking a 3-year examination of the church in America, I deduced that we were in real trouble. Why? Fraud, fake, show church, show pastors. I'm concurrently finishing a book right now, after this one you hold, if the Lord lets me tarry, entitled #Fraud Life, which deeply and very frankly examines socially acceptable micro lies and macro lies. This is one of the reasons I wrote the Bible summary for real people. Truth, simple truth, available to all. Let me say this really quick. My professors at Masters of Dr. Ron Frazier is one, and there are many. Dr. Dennis Fry, fellow Navy guy. Dr. Frazier is a Marine. And let me say this. I want you to understand my point here that our pastor, Phil Ortego, at the Scotts Hill Baptist Church that we attend, it's literally my favorite church I've ever attended. I am telling you, the guy's awesome. He's an awesome preacher, but he's an awesome human being. He's humble. He's very learned, and his preaching is biblically spot on, very relevant, and just awesome. Hey, Bobby Pancake, we're praying for you and all of your employees at all the different restaurants that Hospitality 5. I can't remember what the name of it is. Something to do with that. You've got a bunch of Buffalo Wild Wings. You've got the egg one that I love so much in Christiana. That's some good stuff. I think you've got several others, Stone Balloon and a bunch of others. I don't know. Can't keep up with it, but I know this time is tough for you folks and for your employees. So we're praying for you. All of what I said to say this is I want you to understand that I'm not haranguing all pastors. Not. It's a hard job. It's a super hard job, and I'm not dinging all worship pastors. But what I'm saying is, it's become somewhat commonplace, normal, expected to lament the calling, the career of being a pastor or a worship pastor. And I've noticed in 3 years, I couldn't believe how many I kept seeing over and over and over talk about being broken. And when I would go to pastors' conferences with thousands of other pastors and worship pastors and this, that, and the other, I constantly heard that. And a lot of the worship music reflected that. And I thought, whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, it's a struggle, but we're called. We are called, and God has empowered us. When we place our faith in Christ, the Bible says it gives us everything we need to carry out His mission, and He'll give us what we need every day. So I wondered what all the kind of the maudlin sort of, whining was all about. A lot of pastors that have never done anything else in their whole life, it's a struggle for them because their paradigm is being a pastor. Their paradigm is really restricted. But I love bivocational pastors because you've been around a little bit. And Phil Ortego, I have to say, I cannot. There's my great doctor, Dr. David Friedman. He's my primary caregiver and great friend, and he is helping to keep me alive. Thank you, Dave. I'm glad you like the beard. I just cut off about 3 inches of it. So we're getting it trimmed again as soon as it's safe to do so. You never know. It might be about down to here. Just in time for Christmas. Anyhow, hey, Miss Robbie. Hey, Greg. Good to see y'all. There's a dear lady, Robbie Hollingsworth. Been knowing her a lot of years. Dear, dear lady of God. So anyway, my purpose is not to ding a bunch of pastors. I know a bunch of pastors, especially around here, man. They are on fire. They're happy. There's all kinds of little songs. If you're happy and you know it, say amen. And you go through stomp your feet, clap your hands, all this different stuff. And we used to talk about that all the time. How happy we are to be redeemed by the blood of the Lamb. Christ came and saved us. And it's so awesome that we have that redemption and that eternal salvation. But for whatever reason, it's become real chic to kind of moan and whine. Hey, Kim, classmate, class of 83 and free, Cape Ann Open High School. I don't know why. I don't know why. I tracked it, and I've got some trends, but I don't know that I can conclude it. I joke and talk about the skinny jeans, but I don't think that's really it. So let me go on here real quick. Lying is also killing us, but so too is embellishing things which do not require embellishment. The Holy Bible is one such thing. The Holy Scripture needs no embellishment or fluffing up. We are warned against adding or taking away from God's Word to man. It is very true that it is vitally important to understand the context of each passage. Who was the author? Where was he or she from? What was their culture? What was the culture and context to which the passage is written? All of that stuff matters greatly. Little things don't mean a lot. I say it all the time. No, little things mean everything. The real Bible summary and commentary, which I hope all of you who don't have it will order it today. Be patient because they're running a little slower at Amazon just because they're running short-staffed and sourcing materials and all that stuff. Your books are safe when they get to you, though. None of this happens in China. And there's all kinds of procedures in place to make sure you receive a safe product. I made sure of that. The Real Bible Summary and Commentary was written so that it is very simple to read, and it is my personal assessment of the books of the Bible in about 250 words for each book. The meat of it, so to speak. What it wasn't and isn't intended to be is a pastoral or academic commentary. This is my commentary. These are my impressions of the sacred books and what they came to mean to me. These books might impact you differently. However, this is how these precious and inspired words over the years have moved and, more importantly, changed me. I am not constrained in this summary or commentary to academic and theological conventions, so you will experience my true and unfiltered reactions to the books of the Bible. You will experience my real and raw emotions. Remember to pay close attention to the format of the introduction of the books, especially to whom written, or as I would more plainly put it, the audience. The audience matters. The context matters. Please know and understand that what follows is by no means an exhaustive reference. Rather, as I read through the Holy Scriptures, this, the 34th and most likely last time in my life, these are the things that jump out at me. These are the things that pursue me. As you begin reading this reading of the Bible Summary for Real People, keep pursuing after God. the teachings of Jesus, Yeshua HaMashiach. Learn and do them. Never ever stop. When you fall down or fail, dust yourself off and stand again. I want to express my dearest appreciation for Masters International School of Divinity and its amazing professors for pressing me throughout their prerequisite Bible mastery course. If you're an adult learner and seeking spiritual growth and maturity, as you may have experienced, you can do no better than my alma mater, www.mdivs.edu. So let me say this about that. What drove this initially was a project that I had to do, my undergraduate in divinity school and master's. And in so doing, a key thing was you have to do this Bible mastery. You cannot get through any course of study at master's without doing this. And it's hard. It was really, really hard. For me, and Dr. Frazier, you would know this because I think probably your prescription of your glasses had to be increased because of me, and I feel bad about that. But I write a lot. Writing 250 words only is very difficult for me. People say, "Oh man, I have this paper, 5,000 word paper." I'm like, "Oh, I don't think I could do it." "Oh yeah, it's too long." "Oh, too long." I like to write and I love to expound on things and dig deeper, and I never struggle with it. I really enjoy it. Really, really enjoy it. So let's get started. This is the only one I'm going to do today. All the podcasts after this are just going to be the book, but I wanted to give you the kind of the background of this so that season 1, episode 2 of NOTFlix will not be, I hope the Netflix people don't sue me. We ain't going to get anything. I hope that they'll be really a blessing to you. So let's start at the start, the Old Testament. Some in modernity believe the Old Testament is no longer relevant for study outside of seminary and divinity school. Well, I vigorously disagree. The connections between the Old and New Testaments is inextricably linked. In fact, you simply cannot fully understand the New Testament without having a full understanding of the Old Testament. It's like fuel without a car. One's understanding of the power of the New Testament begins and is solidified and set deep in stone in the Old Testament because one cannot fully understand the strength of this statement. It is absolutely critical that you grasp this powerful and often missed fact that the Old Testament is not simply an irrelevant part one of a 2-part series. No, the Old Testament is indeed the what to the why. The what to the why. And Yeshua, Jesus Christ of Nazareth, victor over death and our sin. My friend, I tell you this without restraint or hesitation. Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Christ, He is the how. Now, Book of the Bible. Welcome to Daniil, Miss Daniil Norwood, Sea Hag Marina. If you're down in Steenhatchee, take your own supplies, take your own toilet paper and your food and stuff. Stay there. Go out in an amazing marina and enjoy yourself. Being out in the water and in the sun's good for you. Dr. David Friedman proved it. Listen to his podcast too. Let me tell you what, I'll put a link in there. You'll get no better information and you'll have fun. He's awesome. Love that dude. So, Book of the Bible, Genesis or Bereshith. In Hebrew, it's Bereshith. The author was Moses. The date of writing details from creation story to the story of the death of Joseph around the 19th century BC. The number of chapters are 50. 50 chapters. Who was it written? To whom written? All of mankind. It's going to surprise you. Some of these that I do, they're going to surprise you because it's not written to all of mankind. A certain book might not be. It might be written to a specific audience in a specific place for a specific condition. Purpose of the writing: to answer the pivotal question, how did it all begin? Now here's my personal summary. Genesis is Hebrew for origin or generation or beginnings. Bereshith, which is Hebrew for Genesis. Even the title of this book speaks of beginnings of many things: mankind, sin, death, and God's unwavering hand in our redemption. It is interesting to note that the very beginnings of this terra firma were made in and by perfection, made by a perfect God, in what could confidently be called a perfect place. Yet sin began shortly thereafter. Genesis 6:9 through 9:17 detail the seemingly incongruous order for Noah, a man who had never built a boat, to build an ark for rain that had never been seen on earth and never before seen flood, and Noah's unwavering obedient response at all cost. Genesis gets quickly to the point in addressing the questions that circle about even the most moderate of minds. How did the earth begin? Genesis answers, God spoke it so. And so it was. How did man get here? Genesis answers, God spoke it so, and so it was. I must conclude that God has also a perfectly ordered plan for all of mankind, despite our fallen state stemming from our departure from his perfect order. Genesis speaks to the questions of God's holiness, righteousness, mercy, and grace. God does not shield us from the lesson of sin and its consequences. Rather, he shows us our beginnings, failings, and foibles to point to his Son, Yeshua. Hey, Sandy, how are you? Thank you for joining us. His Son, Yeshua, the Redemption King. We have the opportunity to redo our lives, excerpting the sin of our fathers. Genesis is a book of choices, and so is life. Genesis is a book of choices, and so is life. So here's the thing. Hello to Evangelia. Good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us. A great RN working with the tiniest of tinies. So God bless you, and please stay safe. Well, there it is. There's Genesis, or Bereshith. And this is NOTFlix, Season 1, Episode 1. You made it through. Again, the rest of them won't be this long. It's just going to be the book. Just going to be the book, and I'm going to give you, and I might go off track just a little bit, because that's what I do, chasing some rabbits. I wouldn't know what to do if I didn't do that, right? To our Spreaker audience, by the way, you can download, for audio only, you can download my Spreaker app on Apple or Apple products or Android products. From Google Play, I think they call it. So we pay every year so that you don't have to. It's very expensive to develop apps. And so we did that. So the Ninja Pastor app, you'll see it's a lion. Click on that, download it, go there to Spreaker, Spreaker. Hey, Brian, there's my attorney right there. Awesome. And you can download that. And the cool thing about that is if you have to stop listening, the phone rings or you're driving, and then all of a sudden you get to where you're going, it remembers where you are, starts right back up. None of that costs you. We don't spam you. We don't do any of those things. I want to thank you so much for joining us today. The first in a long time. Some people are sending me messages. You look like you're tired. I am. This to me is like running, because I'm forcing myself to breathe. Hey, Luce, how are you? I'm forcing myself to breathe, because that's the thing with MSA-C is you have to tell yourself to do the bodily functions, breathing and all those things, because your body no longer does it for you. Hey, Tanya, how are you? So click on that app, Spreaker app, leave comments on Facebook, share it on Facebook. Click on like. I think this will be on my YouTube too. I have 2 YouTube channels, The Good Doctor and Dr. Sean Michael Greener. So feel free to subscribe to those. Doesn't cost you to do any of that. Free of charge, no cost or obligation to you. Hey, thank you for joining us. We're going to be here just as soon as we can. Hopefully, I hope to do 1 a day. 66 books of the Bible. Let's hope that the coronavirus is over with and a thing of the past. And that we're going to get through this, by the way. People ask me, how do you have such a positive attitude about this? Listen, tough times don't last, but tough people do, and we have to get in it to win it. I support our president. I thank God Almighty that he is our president, and that he is our president for such a time as this. God bless you all. God bless you all. Be strong. Do what they say to do. Breathe clean air. Get some exercise. Love on your family or your friends. Catch up on your reading and your cleaning. Live thankful. What a great life God has given us all. And join me again. God bless you and keep you.
Thank you for joining Dr. Sean today. Please follow Dr. Sean at www.drseangreener.com and on social media at facebook.com/SM Greener, Twitter at The Ninja Pastor, and on Instagram at The Ninja Pastor. If you would like to support Dr. Sean's ministry and send Bibles around the world, don't forget to hit the donate page on DrSeanGreener.com or go to paypal.me/Dr. Sean Greener to invest in spreading the Word of God to the world. And please download our free apps to listen to our Spreaker radio show. Thank you again for listening, and don't forget to share.